Welcome to this tutorial brought to you by River City Graphics. Today I will be showing you how to use the ProgressBar component in Flash. So to get us started, we're going to create an ActionScript 3 document. Then I'm going to save this so that some of the linkage later on in the ActionScript will work correctly. So I'm going to say ProgressBar component, and we'll just save over what I already have. Now I'm going to get the component out by going to Window, then Components. And I'm going to be using two components today in our tutorial. I'm going to be using the UI loader and the ProgressBar. Now don't worry, I'm still going to do a specific tutorial on the UI loader, but it works really well with the ProgressBar, so that's what I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to drag both of those out on the stage. I can close that, and I can start positioning this where I want it and sizing it up. So I'm using the Transform tool to size this up how I want it. And I'm just going to size up the ProgressBar and make it a little bit larger so it's more visible to you guys. And now I can position that where I want it. So I'm just going to put that at the bottom middle there. And then we also need a dynamic text box underneath that. And we'll just position that right underneath. And that's going to display the percentage. So basically in this loader we're going to be choosing an image and we're going to load it into that, and then this ProgressBar is going to show a representation, like a graphical representation of how much of the image is loaded, and then it's going to display that percentage underneath in the text box. So now what we need to do is add some instance names. So for this text box I'm going to say %text, and then for the ProgressBar let's just call it pbar for short, and then for this we'll just call it my loader. Okay, so now I think we're ready to start using some ActionScript. So I'm going to open up the Actions panel, and the first thing we need to do is get the URL for our image. So we need to say var, I'm going to call it image URL, colon, and it's going to be a string, space equals space, a couple of quotes and a semicolon, and then inside the quotes I'm going to link it to a image that I have on my desktop in a folder. So it's called stock, and then photos slash, and then it's called trees.jpg. So that way I can load it in from my desktop. And now for the next line we need to basically request that URL. So this is just putting the URL in, and then I need to actually get that into Flash. So I'm going to say var, and we'll just call it my request. And then a colon, it's a URL request, so URL request, space equals space, new space, and then URL request again, and then an open parenthesis, and then what URL we're requesting, which is the image URL because we created that just above. Okay, close parenthesis, semicolon. So now we have that. We need to start adding some parameters to our UI loader. So we're going to say my loader dot scale content with a capital C, and then space equals space, true, and then a colon or a semicolon. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to pull in the image and put it into the space that I've set, rather than bringing in the image and then just having it be off the stage and super large. So it'll scale it down to that size. And then the next thing I need to do is say my loader, and we are basically needing to say what it's loading. So dot load, and we're going to be loading in the my request URL. So my request, and then a close parenthesis, semicolon. Okay, so now we've done that. We need to assign the loader to the ProgressBar. So we need to say pbar dot source. So basically the source of what it's going to be loading and showing the progress of, and then space equals space, and then we can say my loader, and then a colon. So now it's linked to the loader. The ProgressBar is linked to the loader. And now the next thing we need to do is set up some event listeners. We basically need two events. The first one is for while it's loading, and that's basically going to be updating the text box with the current percentage. And then we need another event for once it's completely loaded and it's done, so that we can take off the ProgressBar and the text so that those disappear once it's loaded. So for the first one we're going to say pbar that add event listener. Messed up that. Okay, add event listener, open parenthesis, it's going to be a progress event, and that's a capital P and a capital E, and then dot progress in all caps, and then comma, and we need to name a function, and I'm just going to call it load progress. close parenthesis, semicolon. And then for the next one, I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to make another line. And instead of having a progress event, it's just going to be an event. And instead of .progress, it's going to be complete in all caps, and then load complete instead of load progress. So that will be the function that's going to fire once it's done loading. So we're going to start by writing the first function for when it's loading. So we're going to say function load progress. Okay, and then we need an open parenthesis. It's an event, colon, progress event. Progress event. And then a close parenthesis, colon, open curly bracket, actually colon void, sorry, open curly bracket, enter a couple times, close curly bracket, up arrow key. And then inside of here we need to set that text to the current percentage, or the percent complete of the image loading. So we're going to say %text, .text, space equals space, and then we need an integer, so int parenthesis, and then it's going to be the event.current target, and target is capitalized, or just the T on target, and then %complete, and the C is capital. And then close parenthesis, and then we're going to add a % to the end of that. So we're going to say plus, and then a couple of quotes, and inside the quotes we're going to want a space. Actually, we're just going to want just a %. And then at the very end we're going to want a semicolon. So that's going to basically take the current target, which is the image being loaded, and then it's going to get the percentage complete. It's going to add a % on the end, and it's going to show that in the text box. So the next thing we need to do is write the other function. So we need to say function, and then we called the other one load complete. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to open a parenthesis, we're going to say event, and then it's going to be an event with a capital E, close parenthesis, colon, void, open curly bracket, enter a couple times, close curly bracket, up arrow key. And now basically what we need to do is remove these event listeners because we don't want those floating around once we're done with them. And we're going to basically just copy and paste that, and then we're going to remove instead of add. So it's very easy to take those off. And then once we've done that, then we need to also remove the progress bar and the text. And you can do that by setting them to the visibility to false, or you can remove the child of the progress bar, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say remove child, open parenthesis, p bar, close parenthesis, semicolon, and that's going to remove that progress bar. And then for the text, I'm just going to set it from the percentage to nothing. So %text, .text, space equals space, a couple of quotes, and a semicolon. And then we don't want anything in the quotes because we don't want it to say anything. So I'm going to control test movie, and everything should be working okay. There you go. You can see the image already shows up because I already have it on my computer, so it shows it's already downloaded, so it just comes up really quick. So if you want to see the actual animation, you go to View, Simulate Download, and then you can see that it's loading up. And I picked a pretty large image so that it would actually take time to load, so it wouldn't go super fast, so you could actually see the animation here. So once it gets to 100, this should disappear, and it should go to the image. So there you go. The image has appeared, progress bar has disappeared, the text has disappeared, and you have your image there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and learned a little bit about the progress bar component. It's a pretty good component if you want to display progress of something loading to your users. People don't like to sit and wait unless they can kind of understand how long they're going to have to wait. So don't forget to subscribe, rate, and comment, and I'll see you tomorrow with another component.